All right, guys, we are ready to begin a new week of the 3+1 live cast. Welcome, 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 guys, to a brand new week. We're at the end of the week. Tracey, how are you doing? To my lovely co-host.
I'm doing well. How are you?
Well, Tracey, what are you over there eating and drinking?
Well, just a little snack, some trail mix nuts, and some watermelon.
Oh, you're eating nuts and watermelon.
It's healthy.
Is it seedless?
It might be.
It might, or might not be. Welcome, welcome. We are joined tonight, Tracey, by two special guests that I can mention. First and foremost, we are joined tonight by recording artist Carlos Dwayne. Carlos, welcome.
What's up? What's up?
Livecast.
What's going on? Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
We're glad you can make it. In addition to Carlos, we also have with us his talent manager as well as radio personality, CJ. Carlos, how you doing, CJ?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me again. It's such a pleasure to be here.
I know, my friend, and I keep, we'll go with CJ because Clayton is such a last name for me. But here's a quick question for you, CJ. Is Clayton a family surname that became a first name?
No, it's actually my uncle. His name is Clayton. And my mother, she said she wanted to name me Nicholas, but then she said that when she found out she had a boy, she made a promise to my uncle, because I was her favorite uncle, that she would name me after him.
Oh, that's sweet. Oh. That's sweet.
So that's
Come on, Clayton Jr.
I'm in that family.
And so, yeah, we have I think this is going to be a phenomenal show. We have a lot to talk about. First and foremost, we want to talk about my co-host.
Who is that?
That is the one and the only Tracey, Date Yourself Girl Bomber. Now, Tracey, what does the N stand for?
Nicole.
Tracey Nicole.
Every black girl's middle name.
Every black girl's middle name.
If you were born in the 70s and 80s, yes.
And for anyone out there, if you have Netflix and you have not watched the program Sweet Magnolia, please do so. This is a clip that Tracey posted on her Instagram of her in the role of Pastor June. It's a phenomenal show. It's timely. It's relevant. It's really excellent at a time like this. In addition to seeing Tracey's awesome work on Sweet Magnolias, you can also catch her on this program, DC's Doom Patrol.
Episode 4.
Episode 4. And the new season, Tracey, premiered when?
It premiered on June 25th, the day after my birthday.
Well, happy belated birthday.
Happy belated birthday. Well, we celebrated the birthday on the show.
We did.
CJ, you didn't watch, but that's okay. You may not have known about it.
I didn't. Don't hold it against me. I didn't.
And Jamel, you're correct. Everybody is drinking. This, of course, you know what this is, Jamel. You know me. You know me well. You know what I drink all day. The Doom Patrol, Tracey, episode 4 is on HBO Max. And did you enjoy the experience?
I absolutely did. Because, listen, guys, being a Black woman and cast to play a role for the Sex Patrol, the Sex Men, I mean, that's rare in the comics. And I think it's going to change now that the climate has changed. Everybody is aware that we need diversity and inclusion. But before that, Doom Patrol was actually a show that was about inclusion. My writer was a Black woman. So that was really dope. The director was amazing. He sat and ate lunch with us every day. We were on set for like 3 or 4 days, and he would sit and eat lunch with us, get to know us, and that is rare. Oftentimes, the director eats on his own and goes right back to set, but this guy actually took some time to get to know us, so I had a really good time. I hope they bring us back.
They will.
Hey, Louis, welcome. I'm glad that you were here, and yes, he is enjoying nuts and watermelon. So as you guys have questions out there on the live cast, type those questions in. ask those questions. Don't hesitate. Do you guys hear echo or background?
I do.
I do, yeah.
Okay, so it stopped. Maybe not. We'll figure out who it is as we go because I'll be muting to find out and kind of clearing up. It might be me, so I may have to mute and we'll see.
Are you on your phone?
No, I'm not. But also make sure no one is on the phone watching the live cast as we record because that also can oftentimes lead to an echo.
Okay.
Let's jump right into tonight's interview, and we're going to start off with some questions. Hey, Darren, for our first special guest, and that is you, Mr. Carlos Dwayne. Carlos, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey in the music business.
So, yes, I'm Carlos Dwayne. And so for me, I've been doing music, been singing, writing music, dancing, choreographing, everything since I was younger. In 2017 is when I hit it like really, really hard. I went full force into it. And I've been going since then. What you have up is my first EP that I ever released. It was the first time I've ever recorded music. And it was just something that was real from the heart. I went through a bad breakup at the time, and I wanted to write and talk about it. And so that's where that one came from. I just dropped a new album called Blank Slate. It's available everywhere. And that one is talking about the ups and the downs and the journeys of love and all of that kind of stuff. And it's been getting a lot of good feedback. A lot of people have been listening to songs like, I should have sent this to my ex, or this made me, want to start over again with somebody and different things. So it's been a journey. It's had its struggles as any career or anything that you start trying to do, but it's had a lot of rewarding moments and a lot of joys and proud moments. So I'm enjoying it. I'm still riding, still growing, and still grinding.
You're muted. She was ready, and she was
ready. Okay, Carlos, look, I gotta be honest. I have not heard your music, but I will. But I want to say I started my own nonprofit, Date Yourself Girl, after a breakup. Mm-hmm. And that is where I got a lot of I was able to become more vulnerable after that breakup. And it brought a lot out of me. I think my career has been better because of that. Mm-hmm. And so what was that experience like for you recording during this time? Like, I mean, did it just come to you naturally, the words that you wanted to say? Like, come on.
It was one of those things where, and also in 2017, like 2 months before I got heavy into music, my dad had passed. So it was a very emotional moment. And so everything from the beginning of 2017 all the way up until August had just been like a bunch of different loops and things like that. And so this was a place where I found peace. And so it really opened so many doors because people look for something genuine. They look for something authentic. Like everything right now is starting to sound alike. People start to talk about the same things and it's very repetitive. And now I feel like people want something real, like that I can relate to, that I can listen to, and it takes me somewhere other than getting ready to go out. So I really try to tap into the R&B side, but I think if I had not been so vulnerable and so open, I don't think it would have been received as well because it would have seemed fake. So I had to let it all out. I cried recording it. I cried writing it. I had some moments where I, had to go back into dark places to get the full emotion of it. So it was a whole journey.
As an actor, those are the things we look for in really strong actors is, are these actors able to access their true emotion, how they really feel? And that to me is what is missing in music. Mm-hmm. There's no real emotion, no raw emotion. Everybody, like you said, sounds the same. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about this journey that you're going on.
Yes,
2017 is recent. You know what I'm saying? And it's dope that you have stepped out and really taken the leap of faith and you're putting everything out there in the beginning. Man, that's dope. So I want to applaud you for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely.
A question that I have 2 quick questions for you. Question number 1, Carlos, is this. Who are your musical influences and the musicians that have influenced you on this journey? That's question number 1.
Okay, so first, I always have to give recognition to Carlos Sr., my dad, because he was a musician, singer, songwriter. He's recorded with some major gospel artists. He's directed some people. He used to sing with Tank. So it was a bunch of different things or whatever. But then outside of him, I have to give people like Carl Thomas, Avant, Tank, Miguel, like people who are real R&B artists. Those are the ones that influence me the most because I feel something when I'm listening to them. And that 90s R&B feeling is like unmatched.
And Carlos, you took me exactly where I wanted you to for the next question. And it's a little bit pointed, and I definitely also want to have our viewers chime in as well, their opinion on this very pointed question. You mentioned Avant, you mentioned Carl Thomas. These are artists who are no longer viable in the 21st century era of music. Tracey just alluded to the type of music that she likes, and I'm an R&B fan as well. But my question is this: is R&B still alive? Is this still a genre of music that is relevant in 2020?
So I feel like it is. I feel like what's mainstream though is not really projecting that as much. I listen to so many independent artists and underground artists who have some good feel good R&B, and I feel like now it's slowly starting to creep in. You have people like Lucky Day. I feel like he's a dope R&B artist. Her, you know, people that are but people that are creeping. Now we don't, well, what I will say is R&B is missing a lot the powerhouse singers that it used to have. I feel like everybody is going to this like sultry, almost whisper type of singing. And we don't have like those powerhouse vocalists that we used to have back in R&B. Now that is missing, but I feel like some people are still trying to keep it alive. But I used to think that too. I used to say R&B is dead, but I had to kind of realize it's evolving. Because when I listen to music from the 70s, R&B, it sounds different from the music in the 90s as far as R&B goes. And the 90s R&B sounds different from the R&B we have now, but it's still some artists still keep the basis of what R&B is, even if it's a different sound.
What's the basis? Because I feel like love is missing in this music.
And that's the basis. That's the basis I'm talking. That's why I said some. It's very little, but I feel like when you listen to R&B music back then, either you felt happy and wanted to be in love, or you were in love and you just felt that whatever it talked about the good and the bad of love. And now I just feel like it's like, oh, this nigga take his money, da 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 da. This girl, like it's not talking about genuine love anymore. It doesn't give you feelings of love, and I think that's what held us together with listening to R&B music. That's why at our family reunions we still playing stuff from the 90s, and the 70s, because it was feel good music talking about not just intimate and relationship love, but talking about loving each other as a community. And I feel like it's missing. I feel like that is missing a lot.
Yes. Well, you're gonna bring it on back, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Bringing that back.
And the person who is helping you bring it back is Clayton, is CJ. CJ, you serve as Carlos's talent manager. Tell us about what that job entails and how you are using your talents and abilities to further his career.
So as being a manager for Carlos, first of all, it's an amazing opportunity, and I'm thankful that he even allowed me to be his manager. So let me first say that. It's my job to make sure that he's looking right, he sounds right, making sure that he's getting the right gigs, making sure that I'm following his vision and his brand. So even though I'm his manager and I want what's best for him, whatever his vision and whatever his brand is, that's what I'm following. And making sure I'm getting him, those interviews. And those performances and, magazine interviews, just, things like that. Studio time, giving my input on the music that he's writing and putting out there before he puts it out there. So it's a little bit of all that.
And we have not heard from any viewers about their opinion regarding music in the 21st century and R&B in general. Carlos mentioned Lucky Day. So if you know of any other artists that we need to listen to or know about that we don't, he also mentioned her. And artists that we don't know that we need to know, please shout them out. Please shout them out.
Carlos Dwayne.
Carlos Dwayne, Blake Slate, now on all music platforms. Please check it out, buy it, stream it, listen to it, download it. When I tell you it's an amazing piece of work, and I'm not saying that because that's I manage him. it really is a great piece of work. Like he really put his blood, sweat, and tears into this album, and it took a long time, but it's out now and it's amazing. I really don't think that you'd be disappointed. The only thing I was disappointed was I want the full version of Garner, but whatever. But it was amazing.
You got it. Ready to go. So, Carlos, what do you think about the music of August Alsina?
So I just actually, I had downloaded the project, but it was so many songs. Like for me, I have to sit and digest an album. I like to listen to it all the way through. I still haven't gotten a chance to listen to it all the way through because I've been moving, but I listened to a few songs. I feel like this is a very vulnerable album for him, but I do feel like it's a vulnerable album for him, but I feel like he's addressing people. He's addressing things, and I feel like it's taken away from him actually coming from him, like his heart.
That baby is hurt. He is hurt.
He's hurt.
Yeah,
so
that lady broke his heart.
He is hurt.
And what do you mean he's hurt?
He's going through something that.
That's what I mean. That baby
got that's why he's hurt. Ooh, but I think that I think it's when you're hurt, it's a way to write from a place of hurt without writing from a place of addressing everybody. Like, because sometimes they can take away from your art because it just seems like you're trying to clap back. Only from the few songs that I've heard. I haven't heard the whole album, so I can't speak to that. But from the few songs I heard, he talking about y'all want the old August who was killing people and this and that, and he talks about his process and stuff. And I'm like, you could have just talked about that for me. You have to address, or you don't owe anybody explanation for where you've been, how you've been healing, all this stuff. Just write so we can experience it with you instead of clapping back at people, the media and all these people. He don't owe them any explanation. I think when he realizes that, he'll start getting to a true place of healing.
I need to listen to his music.
I have to agree with the album. He definitely pulled a Chris Brown and dropped like over 20 songs. The sound is good, but he is, like Carlos said, he is coming from like not a good place. It's not the August Alsina I'm used to. So, yeah. And that's funny because I've seen him in concert before too, and he actually is a good performer. Yeah.
August Alsina, to me, comes across like someone who is very uncomfortable with the spotlight, and someone who was not groomed to be as famous as he became, as fast as he became famous. And I feel like, in addition to that, he has a lot of personal baggage in his life that spills over into his art, and I think it's a recipe for disaster. Tracey, what do you think thus far?
Well, I was going to ask, do you have an A&R person? Do you have someone, or is that CJ? CJ, do you make sure that, because you said his look and his sound, but what else are you doing to help mold him as a complete artist?
So we actually have a whole team, actually.
Nice.
We have a whole team. So I don't do everything. We actually have someone that's designated for branding and social media. We have someone that does like his look and does choreography for him. So we have a whole team that's independent, and we're still growing, and we're still learning the ropes as we all are together. So there's a lot of things I don't know that I had to learn, and I'm still learning. As well as other people on the team as well.
And I think what August Alsina needs, and I'm pretty sure he has a team, but the reason why I think I appreciate my team so much, and not just my team, but I have people that mentor me around me. I have people that have known me and will tell me, don't post that. Don't do this. Don't do that. You can't always react every time somebody says something, and it has tricked me to realize that every action or whatever that somebody chooses to do doesn't deserve a response, because at the end of the day, my brand is being affected. They won't look at what was said, they will look at how I responded. And so I have a group of people around me that all together around, they put the pieces together of making sure that I'm emotionally good. Because this can become, and I think that's what happened to him. trying to be in the spotlight too fast, like you said, it can take a lot out of you. And I feel like, I don't know if he was psychologically ready or mentally ready. When you have a lot of baggage and a lot of things you have not dealt with or healed from, that being amplified to the world can really mess you up. And I feel like he needed people to keep him grounded. I don't know if he had that.
That's a very mature thing for you to say. You're younger than me. I'm sure very much younger than me. But I go back to acting because I have to go through therapy, you know? And so is that something that, have you had to go through therapy? Like when you dealt with your breakup, like you said you had mentors. What are the kinds of things that you do for healing and self-care?
I'm in therapy now.
Oh wow.
I stay with therapy. Now if I'm going through, like when I went through traumatic situations, I would go more often, but I still check in every 3 weeks or whatever with my therapist, because sometimes you may have things that you feel that you may not even realize that's affecting you. And before I start bleeding on people, that's what I call it. Like before I start bleeding on people with my hurt, let me deal with me first. And I feel like that's why a therapist is so important. I think we run away from therapy. We run away from therapy, especially as Black men, when it's very, very necessary for you to go through all the things we have to deal with. And especially when you put being an artist on top of that.
Yeah.
So that's a very valid point, and it takes us right into really our next topic about Black men. But before we go to the Black men, I want to still probe a little bit more about this Black man, August Alsina, Jada Pinkett Smith. So what he said a lot of stuff. Did you guys actually watch the interview?
I did.
I watched it.
Yep, he said he doesn't like poo. He said his mother really didn't show him the love that he felt he needed and deserved. And he also said that he was in love with Jada Pinkett Smith, and that Will Smith had given his blessing to their relationship because Will and Jada had evolved from a romantic relationship into a lifetime partnership. Today, or I think it was yesterday, the Jada Pinkett Smith came out and refuted what this young man had said. Do you guys believe August Alsina, or are you more inclined to believe that this is just perhaps what some people have called a publicity stunt?
Why would he need a publicity stunt? 1, 2,
For his new album.
I mean, I don't think he needs that kind of clout, honestly. 1, 2, I mean, it's been no secret. I mean, for years it's been said that Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith had been swingers. That's not no new secret on the street. And then why would he sit here and lie about that? Like Jada Pinkett Smith, yes, she's good looking, but why would he lie about that?
Because he's packing, from what I saw.
What do you mean? He's packing what?
Oh my God!
Right?
He does not have to lie on his manhood, okay?
I don't think, and then they've been spotted together too many times.
Yeah,
too many times.
That's what I was saying. It's
and a little too close for comfort for me.
Yeah, like it's a lot of pictures where they're very.
What they said was that he's a friend of Jaden Smith, and that they kind of adopted him as like a part of the family.
Oh, she adopted him, all right.
That sounds even more kind of crazy if he got adopted into the family, and then now he's having an affair, or like not an affair, having a relationship with her.
But Jada has even said with Will on the Red Table Talk, we gonna stay together. Ain't no divorce.
Right.
But I might be on one wing doing my thing, and you might be on your wing, but ain't no breaking up. So it does not, to me, sound too far-fetched that she would have this cougar-like relationship with this young, vulnerable young man who has had so many tragedies with his mom.
But does that make her a predator?
No.
The fact that he's a young man, the fact that not even the young part, because he's of age, he's old enough to give.
It doesn't make her a predator.
But the fact that he is emotionally vulnerable, and that perhaps he was taken advantage of in his emotionally vulnerable state.
So you think that Jada Pinkett Smith took advantage?
I'm asking the panel.
So I feel like I don't know if it's a predator mentality, but sometimes people try to save people, and I feel like what Jada tried to do was save this boy to the Lewis, please.
Lewis know what I'm talking about. Lewis, you've seen it.
But I feel like she tried to save him, and when you don't have a mother that showed you the type of love or whatever that you had, like I feel like she tried to save him, and I do feel like they got romantically involved. Now, do I think that makes her a predator? No. Do I think she's old enough and she's smart enough to know what she was doing? Yes.
Absolutely.
But I do think that he had a part in it too. I don't think he was that vulnerable that he didn't know what he was doing.
Absolutely.
He wanted it too.
I think she likes young guys. I mean, look at Girl Trip. They put her with the young guy, Coffee.
I believe it.
Ooh.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Another question that I have about this, I think Tracey stated that it's a known fact in the entertainment world and among the tabloid talkers that the Smiths are swingers. They have a non-traditional marriage where they may engage in...
For the record, Tracey did not say that.
Oh, who said it?
CJ said that.
For the record, CJ said...
I'm in the industry. Yeah,
Okay,
we not going to mess up
right.
what I got going. So I'm going to put myself on mute.
Do you think that Will Smith was involved in the sexual tirades?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he's been tied with some celebrities too, and not females, okay?
Well, I don't know about all that.
I mean, don't act like you haven't heard about it before in the tabloids. I mean, I'm just saying
has been. But what I wouldn't be surprised either. I wouldn't be surprised if some other people started coming forward with the fact that they have been with them.
Absolutely, and I also feel like people just don't make up rumors. There's some truth behind it. Like whether the story may be fabricated and it might be stretched or drawn out, there's some truth to it. He just didn't wake up today and say, "Hey, I want to come out and say, I had a relationship with Jada Pinkett Smith." There's something behind it. Either she made him believe that they were in a relationship and maybe nothing happened, and maybe he was just messed up in head to where he believed that the words that she was saying made it feel like they had a relationship. Or maybe they actually really had a relationship. Something happened for him to say something.
You could hear the pain in his voice. Like,
right. One thing I can say about August Alsina, I've always got this from him, even seeing him in person and in concert. He is a very humble person. He's been very open about his life and the things that he had been through in his life. So I don't really feel like he's lying about this. I don't.
You could
Tracey, I know you know about it because you watch The Breakfast Club and all that.
I do.
So, what do you think?
I'm a fan of The Breakfast Club.
What's up,
DJ? You got two of them on the show tonight.
Charlamagne the guy.
Angela
Yee. What do I think as a woman who's dated a much younger man, who was 10 years my senior? I called him 24 when I was 34. I knew what I was doing. I had control. It was fun. We had a great time. And for me, it wasn't about anything emotional. It was about the physical. It was about being able to go out and just have a great time. And the sex was amazing. So that's what she was doing.
They look like a couple in that picture. They look like a couple in that picture.
They do. And Queen Latifah was in the background of the picture looking like.
Lewis agrees.
Yes, Lewis, you know.
He can see it.
They look like a power couple in that picture.
They were. But
she knew what she was doing.
She knew what she was doing. And I feel like even if it started as sex, that man was not ready for a relationship of just sex. I don't think he was ready for that. And she knew that. I think she really knew that. So I feel that
he has dice in his hair. He has dice in his hair. He's not ready for a whole lot.
Cut it out.
Did you see it?
But as insightful as she is on her show and
Right.
posts and in things that she does in the world, she knew better than
No.
to mess with that particular young man
Right.
because he had been through way too much for her to do him like that.
Well, hey, what if he came on to her and now trying to put it out on her?
But it's she has, as a grown woman, she has the responsibility to say, you know what? I can't do this baby like that.
Right.
Because I know I can't give him exactly what he needs.
And Darren agrees. Darren clearly, he states that she played with his feelings.
I agree.
But
because I feel like coming into that, even if he did come on to her first, I mean, whatever the situation, every relationship has one person that leads. So even if she did come on to him first, you took the ball and you ran with it. Nobody's getting that emotionally, whatever, talking about somebody that they had some pillow talk conversations. They had some deep intellectual conversations. For him to feel the way that he feels about her, to say, I could die now, knowing that I love somebody that way.
He said that.
That's real.
Y'all, I'm telling you, she put that mojo on that baby, and he will never be the same with any other woman. He will everything will be compared. Trust me. I've been with the Jada Pinkett, but it was a man. Okay, I know what that feels like. It took me 7 years to get past that. That baby put that thing on him, and we're gonna have to pray, saints.
So, but when you look at the history of Jada, I mean, this is no whatever. When you look at the history of Jada, Tupac said they had a certain type of relationship. Jada denied it.
That's true.
Like, how many people gonna say that you had these kind of relationships?
But they were the same age, though.
I know, but I'm saying the fact that she tried to say we were just friends, and
that's her go-to.
I get it. She tried to deny their whole situation, and she even went as far as when that movie came out to say that was fabricated. Like, so I feel like, okay, now if everybody's saying the same thing about you, clearly you need to check you, because you leading people on the wrong way. Or
and here's another. This is last thing. We're gonna move on. We're gonna go to another black man in a moment. But here's one more thing I wanted to ask: if this was Tiana Taylor and Will Smith, and Tiana was this torn up and this all head over heels for Will Smith, saying that she could die tomorrow because she's known true love of a man that can't reciprocate, would America feel differently about it and give her more sympathy than what they're giving August Alsina?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Unmute Tracy.
I'm trying. No, I wouldn't give her the sympathy. No. Or him or whomever, I've been having the same conversation. You, as an old man, because that's what he is, old man, you know what it's like to be with a young girl. You remember being that. You know how vulnerable and how manipulative you can be with someone that age. I just don't think it was fair to him. If it was lustful on both sides and that was it, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. But that baby was hurt. He was quivering. He said he was shaking talking about it. She had a carnal spirit. That baby actually loved. It's like a succubus. She was the succubus that sucked all the love, the soul out of that baby.
He said he had a block in his heart.
Yeah.
But I do feel like for me and certain people, I don't think we would have judged it different, whether if it was an older man and a younger woman or a younger man and an older woman. But society, I think they would have taken it a different way, because for one, being an older man with a younger woman is not as abnormal. For two, people would have ran to her rescue because society. I'm not gonna say we because I don't, but society tends to, when it comes to women's feelings, they tend to run towards the sympathy card with them more than they do men. Because with men, it's more like toughen up. You knew what you was doing. So I feel like it would have been a little different.
Well, I think, my opinion, I do. One of my frat brothers on Facebook did identify. He said this was a mutually beneficial agreement. And when adults enter into a mutually beneficial agreement, you have to know, no matter if you get your feelings caught in it, it's your fault. But so personally, I feel as though August Alsina is fair game. I feel bad for him being mentally and emotionally unfit for a relationship that is mutually beneficial. But at the end of the day, he got out of it what he got out of it what he signed up for, which is some succubus.
I think he thought he was gonna be in love, and he was the one.
And just for the
but it's almost one of those things where he had to know. I mean, she's married at the end of the day. Whether they choose to be life partners or whatever the case is, he could have never married this woman or got into that type of situation. It's almost like a woman who gets into a relationship.
But we also don't know what Will Smith said to him.
I mean, that's true. That's
what
true.
conversation did Will and him actually have? Like
that's true, but at the end of
no
the
matter
day,
what, like
they're married, so it can only.
And then my thing is, how about this? Was a conversation with all three of them together?
And it probably was, but the thing is, they probably told him from the beginning, we're not leaving each other. We're like partners.
That's
we can
known.
date and we can do whatever. So don't get that deep. Like you should know not to get that deep.
What is not known is this. Why are so many black men coming forward saying that they're going to vote for Donald J. Trump?
I'm going to get off now. I'm leaving the studio.
You need to be on the studio. Here's a prime example. This is Turk from the Hot Boys with Manny Fresh.
Oh my God.
And he said that he was going to vote for Donald Trump. He also said that Donald Trump has done more for black people in America than President Barack Hussein Obama.
Okay.
I want to know why are black men coming forward to say they're voting for Donald Trump.
Yeah, me too.
And Aaliyah agrees with you, Carlos.
So listen, I was on a Zoom today and somebody said that very thing in regards to the HBCUs. Donald Trump was able to get $250 million dispersed amongst the HBCUs, and Obama wasn't able to do that. Here's the thing. Obama didn't have the same House and Senate. He didn't have the majority. So how do we know he was not fighting for the black community? Because most of the things he tried to do were met with some kind of obstacle, with some kind of no.
Well, we
sick and tired of these people acting like this man wasn't black in the White House.
Mm-hmm. He was blocked from a lot of things.
But President Barack Hussein Obama did more for African Americans, more for black people in this country than any president.
What has he done? I still owe my student loans. I still can't get a house loan. What has he done?
That was not the priority, nor was that the political climate when he was president. President Obama had to prioritize what was most pressing for the American people during his time in office. So he made a choice, and I didn't agree with the choice. I felt that he should have prioritized making a legal path and citizenship for every immigrant in this country to become a citizen. That's what I wanted him to do as job number one. However, President Obama, instead of saying, I'm going to prioritize HBCUs, said, I'm going to prioritize universal health care, and I'm going to ensure that every single American has a chance to live if they become sick. That was his priority. That's what he did. And it didn't just benefit black people, it benefited all Americans. It benefited these people who are sitting there at their homes with amputated legs, no feet, no hands, because they have diabetes that went unchecked and they didn't have health insurance. That's what President Barack Hussein Obama did for every American. Yet and still these ignorant black men who are supporting Donald Trump, like this moron,
And his friend Lil Wayne. Let's not forget.
That's what they don't get. And it's really disappointing. It really is. And you know,
I
don't even know if I don't even know if Turk has enough money to pay for his own mama's health care anyway. His mama probably depend on Obamacare like most people's mama.
Where he even decided to come up and say something? Like, where the hell has he been at? Like, come on.
This is my thing. So for me, I really don't care what people feel like Donald Trump has done for Black people, because I'm feeling like even when I'm watching these political campaign commercials now, right, and I feel like these commercials now, these political campaign commercials with him and Joe Biden are targeting us like we're some type of charity case where they're like, oh, this is what we're going to do for the Black people if you vote. Like, what are you going to do, period? Like, stop trying to make it seem like we're some type of charity case. But my thing is, whether you have done whatever or not, the stuff that you have said, the things that you have targeted as far as our community and the ways that you have treated us, and when it comes to things, you have shown me who you are. That's like me saying, you know, when Black people go out, you know, like he said, shoot them when the looting starts, the shooting starts, but then I come back and then I say feed 100 Black people.
If Donald Trump wants to shoot, this is where he can aim. But we're gonna talk about that in a minute. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. But you know, let me say, this is why, Carlos, they're coming and saying, first off, let me give a very brief, and I hope I do justice to this, CJ, a very brief rundown. You have not had a Democrat win the White House in the 20th or 21st century without the bulk of the Black vote. The only reason President Truman won election was because Black people in the South voted for him overwhelmingly in a time when racism and segregation was at an all-time high. And he was fighting to end segregation. Now, President Truman doesn't get a lot of credit for a lot of things, but that's why Black people supported him, and that's what turned the tide and made Americans realize the Black vote matters, especially to the Democratic Party.
That's true.
When you talk about why is it that both Trump and Biden are wanting to, and I think I got a little background. I'm sorry, I don't know what or why. I'm going to let you guys talk. I'm going to log out and log back in a moment. But when you talk about why they're aiming for the Black vote, it's because we, the Black people, have demanded for them to do so. You have a number of Black people on social media saying to Joe Biden, what are you going to do for Black people? If you don't do this and you don't do that and you don't pick this person, we're not going to vote for you. He knows he needs every Black person eligible to vote for him overwhelmingly if he has a chance at winning the White House. Although we only make 13% of the population, we are a strong portion of the Democratic voting bloc. When we don't vote, when we don't vote, they don't win. And Joe Biden knows he cannot get the White House without our vote. And so too does Donald Trump and the Republican Party. That is why they are aiming so hard to suppress our vote. Donald Trump knows he never even, let me say this. Donald Trump never wanted the Black vote in the first place.
No.
He never did. What he wanted to do was pull as many Black people away from voting and suppress the vote more so than getting voters to vote Republican, because he knows that they're not going to do it. That's what his efforts are aimed at, and unfortunately it's working. He chose to pick the most mentally weak people possible and target them and pull them into to suppress their vote. And that's what he's done, and it's heartbreaking because it's the Black men in this country who are falling for it. And Tracey, you love them.
I love who?
Black men.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I love all of them. I'm a little tipsy, so.
Okay, you can stay tipsy. I feel like we also had somebody else who was tipsy.
Paid for me, so I'm sorry.
And you know who was tipsy? Terry Crews. Terry Crews said that he did not want Black Lives Matter to eventually become Black Lives Matters More. What do we think about Terry Crews?
He's one of those people that wishes he was white.
When I watch white chicks, When
White
I
chicks,
watch,
right?
when I watch White Chicks,
You could do it
I
right
really
out my
thought
mouth.
Terry Crews was playing a character. Now I'm finding out that that's really who Terry Crews was.
Who he really is.
Who he really is that character from White Chicks. He likes white people over black people.
He said,
And I'm starting to feel like he just needs to shut up at this point, because every time he says something, even though he may be trying to be mean it another way, it's offensive. And I know you're married to a white woman, but your white woman should respect the fact that you are a black man.
But you're black.
she's black.
A black woman.
She's black, but she's just extremely light.
She's passing.
Oh, she's black.
Passing.
Okay, well,
White
I'll
pass.
retract my statement. But whatever she is,
Your sister.
she needs to be pushing her man into knowing you are a black man, and you need to use your voice in the right ways. Because right now, what you're saying,
him to say that stuff.
You said you feel like she pushing him to say that stuff?
He might be.
That's what I'm saying. She needs to be pushing him to say, use your voice for standing up for black men. You are a black man.
No, I'm saying she might be telling him to say the opposite, like not say stand up as a black man.
That's what I'm saying. But my thing is, Terry, I don't care how much money you got, how passable your wife is, how much whatever. That could have been your neck that they was kneeling on too, because you are a black man just like us. So when we're saying Black Lives Matter, that's not a competition to say white lives don't matter. We're saying Black Lives Matter because we're showing that we deserve justice just like anybody else. We deserve to have our rights and our voices heard just like anybody else. He's trying to make it into a competition, and that's not what it is. It's not about us versus white people and this and that. That's not what we're trying to say.
Right. And the white people are not going through it right now. That's another thing. The white people, the Karens, they're not going through what we're going through.
No.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you what it is.
Tell us, Tracy. And Tracy, don't even ask about Karen. You tell us, and then don't let me forget my Karen comment.
Okay. Coming from an actor standpoint, even with this podcast, I've had to have conversations with Zach about things I cannot say, right? Because I am at risk of losing my career. And so I do believe the things that he is saying is to protect his bank, the money coming in. I don't for one second think that he believes this stuff wholeheartedly. I think he's doing this so he can appear to be neutral, to be because he is a bigger black man. He is a buck. That's what we call it in the industry. He's a buck, a big black man. So he has this perception of being aggressive, angry. So I think he's trying to do the opposite.
He can do like a Jay set and buck on out of here.
Not Jay set.
Okay, JSU.
A count.
I don't know.
I feel like the best way for him to be neutral right now is just to shut the hell up. Because nobody asked you.
Some things are better left unsaid.
Yeah, like nobody asked you. It wasn't an interview. It wasn't something that you felt like you had to be neutral in. You got on Twitter and said something that you wanted to say when you could have just
said something that he felt in his heart.
Right. 2 times.
Tracy, what is Terry Crews and Zachary Kirk's book? It starts with a C.
I will not participate in these reindeer games.
Canceled. Terry Crews is canceled. He is just as canceled as Starbucks and H&M and Wendy's. Terry Crews, you're canceled.
And
now,
Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah, Chick-fil-A been canceled for years.
I like Chick-fil-A.
Well, keep eating it if you want. You keep eating that racist homophobic chicken. Choke on down. Stephanie, you make a good point. Now, I don't know if you were saying what did Trump do or what did Obama do, but I want to just quickly answer that question. I'm going to actually write more eloquent posts about this on Facebook later on. Probably do it tonight. I'll probably do it tonight. Because I think it's important to share, especially the people like Turk, like, well, what did President Obama actually do? And what President Obama did, first and foremost, you have to understand, when this man came into office, we were in an economic crisis in our country. And because of that, his job number one was on stabilizing the economy from the free fall that President Bush had launched us into. So he had to quickly do things like pass the Dodd-Frank Act. He had to quickly do things like bail out the auto industry. And those things require large amounts of economic relief that increase the deficit that has now spiraled out of control under President Donald Trump. So that was job number one. But when he did those things, he was able to help Black people stay in their homes because the Black community was being ravaged by the economic recession at a much more significant higher rate than other races. Even though it benefited everybody, that in and of itself was a benefit to the Black community. In addition to that, he is given credit for expanding access to federal contracting for minority-owned businesses. That is something that Donald Trump has not done. That is something that would actually truly benefit Black people in this country had he made that happen. However, he didn't. What he did do was roll back those allocations and reduce the number of African-American contractors in the federal government at a large portion. He also cut a number of positions that were held by African-Americans or Black people in Washington, D.C. In addition to that, he provided increased access to high-quality education from top to bottom, from pre-K all the way up to college admissions, and helping students pay for college and making it very affordable. And he also gave a lot of financial assistance to distressed areas through choice neighborhoods. President Obama pardoned a number of people who were wrongly and falsely imprisoned, as well as passing a number of executive orders in the end of his administration that provided direct support to the Black community. All of that constitutes all that President Obama did for the Black community without never one time saying, "This is what I'm doing for you Blacks." Like Donald Trump has said repeatedly, "This is what I'm doing for you Blacks." So, yes, Tracey.
I was just going to say, I think that it's unfair for us to think that our first Black president would be able to walk into the White House and change everything as if he has the majority behind him. That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen or heard in my life. He had to play a role, I do believe. And I also believe the things he tried to do for us were not, I mean, look at the Republicans now, how they support everything Donald Trump does. He didn't have that same support. There was an entire party developed during his campaign.
The Tea Party.
The Tea Party was during his campaign and beyond. They did everything they possibly could to try to deter any of the decisions he wanted to make. They placed obstacles in front. So let's stop with this. We don't live in a Black majority. But we don't live in Atlanta is not everywhere.
But to be fair, I'm saying it, I know Jamel is going to have a comment on it. President Obama had the majority when he first took office, and he squandered it by, in my opinion, forcing the wrong priority on universal health care. If President Obama would have focused on a legal path to citizenship for our immigrants, he would have maintained control of the House and the Senate, and we would still be in control of the House and the Senate as well as the White House today. I hope that Joe Biden doesn't make the same mistake and come in saying, "I'm going to focus on loan forgiveness," or "I'm going to focus on something that many young progressives want to be the priority." The priority needs to be on making more Democrats. That's the priority. When Abraham Lincoln emancipated the Africans and the descendants of Africans that they stole from Africa, Black people honored the racist Republican Party and the Democratic Party is racist too, with 100 years of voter fidelity. I believe that a number of our dreamers who deserve citizenship, who have been brought to this country due to no fault of their own, will give the Democratic Party at least a couple decades of voter fidelity to make things right. If they're still alive, because a lot of people are going to die.
You so morbid when you say it.
Because coronavirus is on the rise because of Donald Trump.
Right.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%.
I don't think it's just because of him.
Hey, hold on. He knew about this.
Okay. Yes.
He knew about it. So I'm going to say solely because of him. He knew about it. When he knew about it, then he should have did something then at that point.
my place because you're right. I'm sorry.
So when you heard about it, you knew about it. You should have nipped it then, and he didn't. So,
we had someone in place that handles these kind of things, and he fired them. If I'm not mistaken,
he drained the swamp, and he drained out our pandemic experts.
Right. So when you let go of, I think his pride and his ego is so ridiculous. How did you think that you would be able to handle something like this without those people in place? And now look at where we are. And then you're opening up the country right after everybody got their stimulus checks. Then all of a sudden we're free to open up the country again, so y'all can get y'all's money back.
Well, he left it up to the, to the states, governors and mayors to make that decision.
Well, either way, he's tweeting and he's saying things in the public like, "Oh, let's open our country back up and let's do this and let's do that." So you're not taking into consideration the fact that there's still no vaccination, or if there is, they're not telling us.
I hope there's no vaccination. Now, let's say this. Let's say there is a secret vaccine that President Trump and his family has gotten, that Mike Pence and his family has gotten, that they are given to like certain people, or there's some type of magic, thing that happens. It's really sad they won't give it to Herman Cain.
Right.
Herman Cain jumped on the train or however he got to Oklahoma from Atlanta with his family, and he was sitting there proud as can be in Oklahoma. He's been tweeting about not wearing his mask, and that man is right now in an Atlanta hospital struggling to breathe and fighting for his life with COVID-19. So it's real messed up if Donald Trump won't hook up Herman Cain.
The whole thing's terrible.
Tracy went right away. She was like,
I'm gonna tell you what Donald Trump is doing. He's leaving it up to the states to make the decision because he don't want the backlash to fall on him.
Right,
that's what he's doing. So then, if the states decide to open up, you can't come at him and say, "Oh, well, it's not my fault. The states decided not to do it."
I mean, that is true too, but
that's what he's doing.
But you can't be on platforms that he's on saying the BS that he's been saying. Then for him to say that stupid comment of "we would have less cases if we stopped testing." What kind of sense does that even make? Like, it's just certain things that's just stupidity.
It's just funny how other countries are doing okay, and we're sitting here on the rise.
With cases, right.
No, we're not. No, we're not. We're not on the rise, of course, according to Donald Trump.
According to
Donald Trump, it's about to disappear. What the freak are we?
Well, according to Donald Trump, it was supposed to disappear back in April, and now we're in July.
This past week, Republicans came out in full force advocating for the wearing of masks after they had said they were supporting the freedom to not wear masks. They're now requiring it as you've had a surge in COVID-19 cases. Do you think that the American people, specifically Republican supporters of not wearing the mask, are going to do what their leaders are telling them to do, or are they still going to be in defiance? Because I remember them protesting Governor Whitmore in Michigan, and it was disgusting.
Have you not seen this video of this young white girl at the grocery store throwing her groceries in the
known as Trader Joe's Karen?
Trader Joe's Karen.
To wear a mask,
right?
They gonna be acting stupid.
I'm confused because when the virus really started getting popping, I don't want to say that word, but when it started really getting on the rise,
it started popping in the virus.
No, I'm saying like earlier this year they were saying that the mask,
like little mama's gloss.
They were saying that the mask didn't protect you. Now they're saying masks are mandatory. So I'm just kind of they keep going back and forth. Because at one point they were saying that only the N95 masks work. Now they're saying that all masks work. Wear a mask. So which one is it?
Any mask, the point of the mask is to protect other people from you.
Right.
Not to protect you. If you want to protect you, you need an N95 mask or a mask with the N95 filtration to block the germs from getting in. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. That is what will protect you. But you wearing a cloth mask will protect and decrease the amount of virus that you're emitting into the air.
I need to give CJ my address so he can mail me a couple of those N95?
I got one for you. I got you. Are you in Atlanta, right?
Absolutely, I can pick it up.
Tracey, you can come by as well. I have a mask.
Yeah, I don't have to even mail it to you, honey. I can just bring it to you. I live here too.
Yeah, I have a mask with filter. I can also probably spare a couple N95s as well. One of my former teachers, Raquanda, actually just out of the blue surprised me and said, you know, Dr. Kirk, I love you. And she sent me a whole box of N95 masks, literally probably in the fight, like over $100 worth of masks. Because the N95s are not cheap. You know what else isn't cheap? Advertising on this platform known as Facebook.
Oh God, Mark.
This is Mark Zuckerberg.
You are stupid.
That was Mark Zuckerberg. And on last week, you know, 2 weeks ago, Mark Zuckerberg came out saying that Donald Trump can use Facebook to do exactly what he did in 2016, which is suppress the vote, lie to the American people, and let Russia interfere in American elections. He said that unlike Twitter, he was not going to censor Donald Trump or fact check Donald Trump and his disinformation machine. As a result of that decision, a number of his advertisers pulled out and are no longer willing to advertise on Facebook. So much so that Mark Zuckerberg lost $7 billion in advertising in one day. What do we think about Mark Zuckerberg and the backlash to Facebook?
I love to hear it. For me, he deserves it. I feel like this has been going on for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this has been going on for a long time. I like literally, and I don't know if he owns part of Twitter or who owns parts of all these social media sites, but they need to take a stand against all of it. I was posting something on Facebook and I posted it on Twitter, and before it even finished uploading, it deleted. I was posting something about the Black Lives Matter, and before it finished posting, it deleted. And then on Twitter, it posted, and then when I went to my page, it was gone. Like, they had deleted it. So this has been going on for a long time. So since they keep trying to filter us and remove our stuff, let these companies remove their ads. So since you can remove stuff, then let them remove stuff. Then we'll be removing money out of your pocket. Since you trying to censor everything and you want things to be your way, then you pay for it.
I agree.
Because these ads are paying for that platform. So if you want things to be your way, Mark, you pay for it out of your pocket to keep this thing running, because then nobody can tell you what and what not to say. But you don't have that. So now these people pulling back and taking out. I barely use Facebook now, but I started falling back so hard because I really could care less about Facebook anymore. Like, and I'm starting to feel that way about a lot of these social media platforms, because it's starting to expose people for what they really are. And like, who's running these things? I'm good.
We don't need Facebook anymore. But I agree with you. I'm concerned though that like Facebook, Twitter, all of them are run by the same people.
Not Twitter. Let me say, you know, Twitter was the first one to come out saying that they were going to censor Donald Trump, and Donald Trump then started a mass attack against Twitter, even though he uses Twitter every single day, 18 times a day. But the main founder and CEO of Twitter is this really cool guy named Jack, who actually donates massive amounts of money to the Democratic Party and has done so for a long time. I like Jack, and this it's not just because he's a Scorpio, but that certainly helps me like him a whole lot more.
Well, Jack need to get his platform straight, because I got a screenshot of me posting something, and then when I went back, it was gone.
Carlos, it may have been a lie. You may have been posting false information.
No, I just posted Black Lives Matter.
That's all it was.
That's not a lie.
That is not a lie, but I need to see evidence. Carlos, I need you to go ahead and let me see that screenshot, because I call cap.
Look, I got the receipts.
I need to see the receipts. Because I don't know if I can believe that. So we have had, I think, very good dialogue and robust conversation throughout the course of the night. We're getting ready to go into what for some people will be a holiday weekend. That holiday will not be honored in this house. But for a lot of Americans, They are going to honor the 4th of July and the Independence holiday. I want to ask that all of our viewers and those who are going to watch this throughout the course of the week ahead, listen to it, to honor the 4th of July and the heritage of Black people contributing to this country by reading a book by Dr. Ibram Kendi called Stamped from the Beginning. Stamped from the Beginning is the most relevant book that I have read. It's the best book I've read this decade.
Wow.
I actually looked into it today.
It is the best book I have read this decade in terms of being something that I feel. This is one book that I feel every single person needs to read. I love the book so much that I am making it a book club pick, and going to discuss the book with everybody I can on this platform. But it is absolutely an ideal book. So with that being stated, I honor the holiday that way. Let's go into, as we conclude today's episode, the up, the down, the clown, and the products that we love. So who has this week's up? Carlos, what you got?
So for the up, okay, hold on, wait a minute.
Get it right, Los.
I know. Say the up for me one more time.
What is this week's the up? The thing that brings us joy, good news, something positive happening in our world today, because we have so many things that may not be positive right now. What's the up for the week? The up.
So what I'm going to say the up for the week is that we have I have tomorrow off, but I don't know who does, but I'm
working the whole day. I'm working.
I'm working.
I'm off.
I guess that's not an up for you guys.
It is. I'm off.
I'm off.
They can have that bloody holiday.
I'm not celebrating the holiday, but I do appreciate being off.
Thank you. Me too.
Because I think that it's still a good time for us. And when you were talking about the 4th of July, I celebrate Juneteenth, especially that I know so much more about it now. But I think that the 4th of July gives us a time to celebrate to not celebrate the holiday, but gather with each other, even though we're segregated and we're social distancing and everything like that. But
not everybody.
Have the cookouts that we have, and it's time to just enjoy each other. I think that that's the up for the week, to enjoy each other and have some positivity, because there's so much negativity going on. Enjoy your days off and really relax and refuel yourself for what's coming after this.
Say that.
Everybody needs a day off every now and then, so that's a fine up to have. I won't be barbecuing, eating that slave barbecue though, because I'm boycotting the whole thing. You know, put my ancestors and all kind of abuse. Any barbecue you can have.
Why should be at a cookout on Saturday eating?
Not me. I will not be at a cookout. I will not. I'm social. I want to live. And that's awful transition into the down. This is really, to me, this is a down, and I am heartbroken over the loss of anyone, period, but especially to COVID-19. Even more so devastating to me is losing our elderly members of our greatest generation, people that have so much to contribute. And sad to say, many of them who voted for Donald Trump. A number of elderly people block vote for the Republican Party. And many of these people voted for Donald Trump, and they're losing their lives. And the saddest situation happened last week with this week's down. After 67 years of marriage, Floyd and Violet Hardwick died just 5 hours apart. They had been married for 67 years, and they literally died, they said, holding hands. Holding hands.
How old were they?
They were significantly older.
90.
They were older.
They lived their life. I mean, unfortunately, they passed away. But if they were in their 90s, they lived their life.
They had lived a good life, I'm sorry. But this is the thing: don't let me lose my life to something that could have been avoided.
Right.
Don't let me lose my life to the police breaking in my home with a no-knock warrant, thinking I'm a drug dealer and I'm an educator. Don't let me lose my life to coronavirus that I would have been protected from had I known it was a real situation and the president not called it a hoax. I think that's definitely this week's down. Who has the clown?
CJ.
Well, you guys might not agree with me, but I am giving the clown to our governor, Brian Kemp.
Why wouldn't we agree? That's a plus.
I'm giving it to him. And I'm going to Mayor Bottoms too, because she needs to be speaking up too.
We're not giving Mayor Bottoms the clown. What are you talking about?
She's saying too. But definitely Governor Kemp here in Atlanta and in the whole state of Georgia. You know, anyone that wants to come down here and visit this weekend, please stay in your states because we already have high cases on the rise here. And I feel like we need to shut the state down because numbers are just soaring every day. Now, it's funny
how you put Keisha in that?
Well, okay, look. Well, mainly, okay, Kemp. Let me just finish. So, Kemp, you need to shut the state down. Now, a plethora of restaurants are already shutting down because of the cases spiking. And you have a lot of out-of-towners coming here, okay, that want to come party and live it up because we're one of the places that's open. And then they're bringing their Rona down here with the Rona already here.
But why does he keep in that?
Because I felt she could be saying something to him.
Keisha absolutely has been fighting with Governor Kemp from the start. But he's the governor.
I haven't heard nothing.
And he has mandated that the cities cannot oversee his municipalities can't oversee the state government.
So that's my apologies. I didn't hear her say anything. So my apologies. So it's going to Kemp though still. He needs to shut the state down and only keep essential workers and essential stores open so we can flatten this curve. Bottom line. Huh?
What's the opposite of a clown? Whatever that is, Keisha, that's what you get for the week. The opposite of a clown.
The opposite. But yeah, you need to shut the clubs down, shut the bars down, shut the restaurants down to only dine-in only. You need to shut down the malls. You need to shut down everything. Grocery stores and pharmacies only.
Tracey, what does it say?
Keisha did say 3 days ago, I am a realist, not an alarmist. The real data shows that COVID-19 cases are rising at an alarming number. It is simple, wear a mask. So I do think Keisha is, telling us to sit our asses down somewhere.
Well,
I'm a little tipsy, but
no one's sitting down, and it's just I'm still staying in. I'm not doing that much, but yeah, people need to stay their asses in the house, and especially with 4th of July weekend. God knows how many people are coming here this weekend or already.
What?
People are coming to Atlanta.
Ain't no 2020.
I know 3 people that's already here.
Ain't no 2020. That's what I
think.
People
so hard-headed. People just so hard-headed.
Right. So yeah, Kemp, shut the state down, please.
I don't think they're going to shut down anything moving forward. I don't think so. I think unfortunately, it's
Virginia is still not opened up.
Fully. Yeah, some states have not opened, but I feel like southern states under the Trump supporting states are not going to.
It's funny how you haven't heard much about Rhode Island, Massachusetts, states like that.
Maine has like 2 cases. That's why I'm going.
They're not open. Tracey, what is this week's product that you recommend and that you love?
Well, it's not exactly a product, but it is a theater company that I am an ensemble member in called Congo Square Theater Company in Chicago. And with all that is going on in the world, we need more funding because we are like the HBCU of theater companies. And we are still thriving. We are still working. We're just doing amazing work for Black artists. So I want to big up them. I always want to give them their props because I'm the ensemble rep. And I think that we're amazing people.
And it's Congo Square Theater Company in Chicago. And
you can go to our website,
CongoSquare.org.
CongoSquareTheater.org. and you can donate, and you can see some of the work that we have done for the past 20 years. And while a lot of theaters are closing and are struggling during COVID, we are not, because we have been without for so long that we have been able to sustain in a pandemic, because, you know, as Black people, we're resilient. So.
And so I think that's a great way. Last note, Tracey, you said that last week you told us all about a really great green market in off Enon Road in College Park.
Yes.
You went back after learning about the yellow watermelon from one of our viewers.
Yes.
You actually tried the yellow watermelon.
I'm never going back to regular watermelon. It was so sweet. It was meaty, like you said. It was a really sweet treat. I have a sweet tooth. So that was my sweet for last week. And I'm going again tomorrow.
I need to find some of that.
I'm a regular customer now.
And where is that now?
This is at the Georgia Roots Urban Farm. It's on Enon Road. You can Google it.
What time are you going?
I am going around 2:00, but they're open on Fridays and Saturdays only from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. And I love it.
We need to go together tomorrow.
We should go. I'm going to go around 2:00. I got to get my head did.
Well, somebody gonna have to send me some or something, because where I'm gonna get some from in Charlotte?
You're going to be missing out on that yellow watermelon, my friend. But
I have to bring you some. I have to bring you
all about going too. I didn't make it last Saturday, so I do want to go.
Yeah.
Now 2:00 is risky because of the traffic. But
no, to go tomorrow. It's a holiday.
You just said your people were coming to Atlanta in mass numbers.
I said 3 people, and there are.
If you know 3 people, that means that we're going to have holiday traffic this weekend, unfortunately, in the city.
CJ and Zach, look, meet me at the Georgia Roots Urban Farm tomorrow at 2:00. We will take pictures, and
you're going to be there at 2.
Yeah, I got to get my hair done first. I got to come back over here, pick up my niece, because I want her to go and experience it. We've got to support Black. We've got to support our own.
Well, I will take a break.
We have to support Black people. I'm all about that. We have to support Black businesses, but Black-owned businesses need to act like they got some sense sometimes too.
You're right, and this is a business that does.
Now, I'm just saying, because I've been to some Black-owned businesses and they want to act a little.
Yes, you're right. And we should talk about that.
Right.
We should talk about that.
You know, the Black people want us to support the Black businesses, but they don't want to act accordingly, and they want to make things on their own rules.
I can attest. The only reason I go to this place is because, not just because they're Black, but they're Black and they do it right.
They're Black businesses that are rude and have poor customer service, and they're white businesses that are rude and have poor customer service. No business has a color.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying majority. Okay, I am going to say
I have to call out the racism.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Because
I am an equity warrior.
I'm gonna tell you this: a lot of Black-owned businesses, okay, they got a little rudeness to them. Okay,
but let me explain some of it. I'm not trying to take up for them, but I will say, if we go to Macy's at South DeKalb Mall and have a bad experience, we can go to the Macy's at Atlantic Station and probably get a better experience.
You mean Lenox Mall?
You racist too.
Oh, they don't have one? I'm thinking of Dillard's. I'm sorry.
Yes.
But what I mean is they have more options. We don't. But
yeah. CJ, racist. Tracy, racist.
No, he's not.
Racist.
No,
racist.
That is not.
Let me explain.
We need to.
It is not fair. It
is
not fair to collectively group any people together and say that businesses give you a rude experience, because you go to one Black business. Guess what? If you go to, and I'm not using, we're gonna go to
use Chick-fil-A for an example.
I'm gonna use the nappy roots.
Chick-fil-A, guarantee if they do something wrong with your foreign food, they'll go ahead and fix it. Okay.
TJ, I don't eat racist, homophobic chicken.
First of all, how can you be mad that they're homophobic when it's a Christian-based company? That's their belief.
CJ, are you telling me that Christianity should be homophobic?
No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying,
that's exactly what you can
what I'm saying is you can't get mad at them because they are a Christian-based company and they don't believe in homosexuality.
But okay, CJ, it's a difference in not supporting it. But when you're using my money that I'm paying your company to do with conversion camps and all that kind of stuff, you're discriminating. You're putting that money.
How many times have you been to Chick-fil-A in the past 6 months?
Who, me?
Yes.
I haven't been. I don't really go to Chick-fil-A like that.
I said in the past 6 months, have you been?
0.
You have.
0.
I haven't been to Chick-fil-A in a while.
0.
Well, I would say about 2 or 3 months.
Right.
Here's the point. You can eat what you want to eat. That's a personal choice.
I just found out about this. I knew that they had
you knew that they do not like gay people.
I didn't know to the extent.
Everyone in America knows that they're homophobic, but now you know they're racist.
So what I was saying to you,
now I know they're both. I'm not.
What I'm trying to say is that if Chick-fil-A messes up, they're gonna fix the issue. Okay. Now, if a black
I'm with you, CJ. Listen, the bottom line is black businesses.
You're both racist.
They need
to
practice.
Tell me this, Tracey. How many times out of five businesses that you went to are black, and tell me how many of those 5 black businesses was a good experience out of 5?
100. I can go
I'm asking Tracey, think of 5 black businesses that you went to and tell me how your experience was with these 5.
I understand where CJ is coming from. Here's the thing. We have got to do better with protocol. There is a problem within within black businesses where we don't believe in protocol. We think that we got our own, we can do whatever we want.
Right.
No, there is a protocol when it comes to customer service, treating
they don't have it.
Customers. It is just, I shouldn't be waiting here for you to seat me for 15 minutes before you even recognize that I'm standing at the door.
Now what I will say is,
the first time I went to Old Lady game,
I'm on Zach's
my
side
food came
on
out
this a little
cold.
bit. I'm on Zach's side on this a little bit because what I will say is that we get that from white and black businesses. We just put black businesses to a higher standard because I have gone into white businesses and I've been there for 15 minutes and nobody said nothing.
Stop.
And I don't go back.
I don't go back either.
I make my
all the attitude with it.
Let me explain to you why you are both racist and wrong.
Oh my God, I'm getting off. My computer is about to die. We are over our minutes.
No, this is important. This is really important.
I love you, Carlos.
Just stop, Tracey. I need you to give me just this right here, Tracey. When you have an experience, because let me tell you something, we have been conditioned as Black people in America because of racism to think a certain way about other Black people and Black businesses and Black entities and Black enterprises. And you know what? Let me just mute yourself and let me make my point, and then you can just tear the point down. We have been conditioned a certain way by society in how we respond. So when we go anywhere that we perceive as being Black, we automatically expect a certain kind of experience. Every Black person has the right to be autonomous, just like every white person, just like everybody else in America. You can be how you want to be. If you want to be rude and you want to be nasty, you can be rude and you can be nasty. That doesn't make you ghetto. That doesn't make you anything but rude and nasty. Just because you are a Black person who's rude and nasty to customers, that doesn't reflect on every Black business. That doesn't reflect on every Black person. that reflects only on the person who was rude and nasty. That should only reflect on that one business. It should not be condemnation of every single black business out there. However, you have been trained that way, but you want to attack all black businesses and say that bad customer service.
We did not say all.
Bad customer service. And you know what? That stereotypical behavior makes you a racist. You are just as racist as white people. You attack black people. You need to wake up and you need to recognize your internal racism and work through it. And that's why I need everybody in America to read a book.
We did not say all, BTW. We did not say all. But what I am saying is if I go into Virgil's in East Point and they don't recognize that I'm standing there, and then I go next door to the Real Milk and Honey and they still don't recognize that I'm standing there, there is an issue with black customer service, and we need to all get on the same doggone page.
100%.
You can go to restaurants that are owned by white people and that have majority white patrons and they can treat you the same way.
I need you to understand. I don't mess with them either. When I found out that Sun in My Belly supported Brian Kemp, I didn't care how nice they treated me, and I didn't care how good the food was. I decided I cannot patronize a place that supports a man that's
crazy. Tell me this. So when you if you went to Mary Mac's Tea Room and they treated you rudely, would you say that all white businesses have a problem with customer service?
I did not say
that is the racism I'm talking about.
No, but here's the thing. When I go into black businesses and there is a reputation, like there is each one of them have a similar way of treating me,
right,
of not valuing me,
right.
Is that real or is that just your perception?
No, it's real. It is what happened. It's what happened.
Let me go ahead and tell you. I went to my homegirl's restaurant on Jonesboro Road. I love her. She made my birthday cake. I think she's dope. But I took pictures of the ground in which we were eating and the tables. They did not clean that place from the night before.
Your friend nasty.
What I'm saying to you is that is a part of a mentality that a lot of our restaurants have.
I don't believe that.
We're understaffed, we're undersupported, and so, hey, I met my quota for the day. I ain't got to clean up today.
Right.
And for me, that bothered me. I was cleaning up for her because I was like, this is my friend's restaurant. I don't want people thinking that this is how it's going to be every time. But I don't go there every day. I can't go and clean up after her. That has to be a standard that you set for your staff.
You hit the nail on the head when you said that they were undersupported. Because black people don't want to support black businesses.
And why do they want to support them? Because of the services
that you go around that are not true and unfounded.
No, they don't get the support because they're not giving the service that the people want. That's why. Black businesses do not have good services. And I'm not going to say all of them, but a good vast majority of them don't. I'm dealing with something right now with a black-owned business that I'm taking a small claims court because they want to be rude, hang up the phone on me, take my money from me.
It's not the majority. It's not
the majority. I'm going to say right now, if I can name 5 black businesses I dealt with, probably only one of them gave me great service.
Okay, let's name them.
Who gave you great service? Let's talk about that.
Georgia Roots Urban Farm.
Let me tell you, the first time I went to Old Lady Gang, they didn't greet us. The food came out cold. We had to send the food back. They gave us attitude because the food came out cold.
And I've been to all the locations.
Guess what? Guess what?
Camp Creek.
CJ,
I love candy, but you find yourself as such a great businesswoman, but you out here having your workers and your cooks serving cold food, not greeting us at the door, standing around doing whatever they want to do on their phone.
I had the same experience, but you don't hear me saying that that's all black businesses.
You go to Juicy Crab, and what they doing when you walk in?
Juicy Crab isn't black.
It don't matter. All the black people work there.
Juicy Crab is owned by Asian people. And I will
help us. Yeah. What they doing out in North Carolina? What the black business doing out there?
You see black people run and eat them crabs. That's why you said it.
You are 3 against 1. Carlos said the same. I need to eat. I ain't ate all day. I love y'all. We need to bring DJ and Carlos back.
Hold on, let me say another one. So I'll give you another prime example. God is dope. Love their stuff. Okay.
I don't wear. You know what? God is God. God is. I don't do drugs, so I don't wear no shirt talking about.
First of all, let me say something.
I don't do blasphemy and sacrilege.
No, when they say God is dope, they say like God is dope, like in a good way.
That's what you believe they mean. You don't know what they mean. Like the Illuminati and all that stuff is real.
Oh my God.
Okay, it's a way to get the younger crowd in to know more about God. It's a word that the younger generation uses. Dope, and it's a word that was used in the 80s. Why do you think Kirk Franklin was the way he was growing up when he was incorporating hip hop with gospel music to get people to know that you can listen and worship God, and it doesn't always have to be like the old, hymns from back in the day.
Well, God
is dope. They're just saying God is dope. Like you can worship God, and it could be in a dope way. Now, what I was going to say was that they're a company based here in Atlanta, okay? And I reached out to them to get some products, and they politely read my message and didn't respond. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Mind you, I'm asking.
I do face that a lot.
That's a reflection on
And I've seen that you've seen the message because I've seen it since then. And I sent you 3 messages, asked you, can I buy this product from you? And they read my message 3 times.
That is a reflection on
customer service. Poor customer service. If you didn't have it in stock, all you had to say was, hey, we don't have it in stock right now, or you can't buy it right now. But instead, you just want to read my message 3 times and ignore it. That's money in your pocket. I'm supporting you.
I don't support that because it's blasphemy. It has been
it's black-owned. It's a black-owned business, though. So what's the problem? Okay.
Please support black-owned businesses, and please read this book so you can learn how to be an anti-racist. There's a lot of racism on the line tonight. Have a wonderful rest of the week.
Where can people find you at? Let's
talk about how you can find everybody.
Am I gonna see you guys tomorrow? This is amazing.
Tracey, follow me back. I'm gonna send you my number so I can text you.
Okay,
I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there, Tracey. And so you guys can always follow me on Instagram, Dr. Kirk English. You can also follow the 3+1 podcast on 3+1 Media on YouTube, as well as 3+1 Media on Facebook. CJ?
You can follow me at I am just CJ. I'm only on Instagram. Facebook is Clayton Jeanette, but I'm mostly on Instagram. I am just CJ, all one word. Make sure you follow me. Show me some love.
Come on, Carlos. You come on, Carlos.
Right.
So mine is I am Carlos Dwayne. That's on Instagram, Twitter. On Facebook, it's Carlos Dwayne, but I probably won't be using Facebook, so don't even go there. And yeah, all that.
No, wait, and tell them the music fan page.
Oh,
and the new album.
The music fan page is Carlos Dwayne Music. So you can follow that one. That has all the updates about the music. And then make sure y'all go get the album and listen to it and tag me and tell me how you feel.
I'm gonna do it. And so one thing, Tracey and I, we have a website launching on August 1st is the hope that we will launch. And I think that we need to do Carlos, you and CJ will definitely have like a feature article on the website because all of our live cast guests get a feature article. But we'll also do an album review for you.
Yes, that would be dope.
That would be great.
That would be dope.
So
you guys are an album. I'm telling you. Tracey, you're gonna love it.
I'm gonna listen.
While you eating tonight, listen.
I will. I got blank slate. I'm tipsy, y'all.
Tracey, how can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at THE Tracey Bonner, TRACEY BONNER.
All right, guys. We will see you guys back here next Thursday. And you can catch me on Monday for my Live in the Moment with Rodney. Talk to you soon, guys.
Love you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hey,
For
Tracey,
real,
I just sent you my number. Text
Okay.
me.
I will. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.